I have been posting about once a day for a week now. The effect that it has had in my life has been unbelievably positive. Here are 4 things that I wish I could tell myself to encourage myself to post more if I could go back and give myself some advice. For context, in the past week, I made 6 videos. They were all short form videos. I recorded them and then I posted them on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. They got roughly 1,000 views each and 10 to 30 likes on each. I just talked through how I was planning to make $10,000 online by building a Chrome extension and more broadly indie hacking. And I was going through day by day all of the different hurdles that I went through. So one day was seeing if I could build a logo. Another day was seeing why it stopped working. A third day was submitting it to the Chrome extension store, so on and so forth. And that was the content that drew a lot of people to like my posts and watch them. So you can actually watch them on my YouTube channel if you click on my name. The latest 6 shorts are those videos. First and foremost, I think that it is having a positive effect with my friends. They always ask me about how my goal of achieving 10K via indie hacking is going whenever we meet. And I find that really encouraging and promising. Sometimes people feel like they should never post about their side hustle or their hobby on their Instagram story. They should always make a new one so that they don't bother all of their friends with their posts. But if your friends truly care about you, then they will care about your interests as well. And if they are not interested in what your interests are, then they can mute you or they can just skip past your content. Like the algorithm curates the feed for you that you most are likely to stick around for. Now that we spend so much time on the internet, your identity has moved on into the internet. And so if you don't post a lot, then people don't really know what's going on with you, what you're doing in your life, what you're up to, all of that. And if you can post consistently daily, then it feels like people can maintain the relationship that they have with you. The people who I most admire are liking my posts. That is absolutely encouraging to me. You have your friends and you have those who you really appreciate and you want feedback from, and generally speaking, they're off doing other things. They don't have time for one-on-ones, which is what I like to do. I like to call people and chat with them. But if you post consistently, they can see what you're up to. The second thing is that I am getting some pretty specific inbound from people who I wouldn't have expected to reach out. For the past 2 years, I kind of thought that if I wanted to meet digital nomads and indie hackers and all of these people, that the way I would do that is by going out into the world, going to Bali, going to Buenos Aires, going to Mexico City and interacting with them. But I was wrong. It turns out that you don't go to them, you let them come to you. And it's by putting out a signal of who you are and what you do and what you stand for. I have had 3 or so friends, or not even friends, but people who have been in my networks who I've met once at jiu-jitsu, who I used to spend a lot of time with at university, and it's been 5 years, reach out to me and say, oh, I have this app idea that I want to build. How do I build this? Or, oh, I have this issue where as a pilot, I need to track my hours, but there's no real easy app for me to do so. Can you help me with this? They don't actually say, can you help me? But they offer ideas for how to build stuff that would be super useful and helpful to them just willingly, because they know that I am the type of person who is looking for ideas and who loves to build things. So the second benefit of putting yourself out there into content while you are pursuing a goal and documenting your progress pursuing that goal is that people who share similar goals or have desires will come to know you as that person who builds stuff in public, and they will reach out to you and they will talk about some things that they are looking to build or do themselves. They're just offering you opportunities that you wouldn't have known about if you had just kept to yourself. The third thing that I am going to take away from this week is that it is quite fun and also good for me to post content. I used to be a content creator about 2 years ago, and then I got a job doing client success for a startup. But now that I'm starting to restart that part of my skill set, I'm finding that it's really fun. It's fun to create the content. It's fun to record, to edit, to post, and then to wait to see the views and the likes roll in, and to strategize about why it is that the content didn't do as well as it could have, or how you could improve the content. That is extremely fun. And I think that the skills that I've picked up in the past 2 years mean that I'm an even more deadly content creator than I was before. I like waking up and going straight to the YouTube Studio app and seeing how many views a video has gotten, or going onto Instagram and seeing how many likes I've gotten, or to TikTok and doing the same thing, because it is fun. It's like a video game, and it's not negative in the sense that it used to be for me when I was in high school and it was just a vanity project / a popularity contest. This is now a case where you are finding your tribe on the internet. I am finding that I am spending more time on these platforms to learn how it pulls me in, but I think it's good because I'm self-conscious about my use, so I don't use it for too long. And I'm also self-conscious about why it is that I found a particular video to be interesting and hooking. So if it hooked me, then maybe I could use that hook on the platforms when creating a video as well. That being said, one thing I've learned is that it's not the building that is now the moat, it is the distribution. So a couple of years ago, before AI and ChatGPT and LLMs, the way that startups would compete with bigger companies is that they would just outbuild faster than the bigger companies would, and then they would take over the market, and then they would push out the incumbent big companies and just rule the roost. Now we're in a situation where there are a lot of indie hackers who are going to be pushing out startups because indie hackers are moving that much more fast. I also think that this idea that AI is going to replace software engineers is just wrong. Easier it is for something to be produced, the more supply there is of it, and the more applications can be developed as a result. So maybe it was the case that most ideas that people had may have been good, but there just wasn't enough capital to fund the software developers to build them. But now that we have AI and we have vibe coding and we have indie hacking, a lot of these ideas that previously would have been too expensive to explore and to develop are now within our grasp, and we'll see a whole bunch of new applications and services and products that will help people with things that otherwise would not have had the time of day before. In a world like that, it's not so much the building that is the moat that prevents other competitors from taking over. It is actually the distribution. So it seems like a lot of the strategies that I've seen for indie hackers is to take something that exists that is profitable and to make it 1% better and to sell that. The competitive edge that these hackers would have is not the product, it would actually be the marketing, where if you can market your product better than this bigger company or this other startup, then you're going to win the market and you are going to succeed where others did not. The last thing that I'm taking away from this week is that I don't think I'm moving fast enough. It has been a week and I have put out a Chrome extension, but I've made a few updates, but no one knows about it. No one really knows about it. No one has installed it. No one has used it. And so I think I need to spend more time on marketing rather than on software development. Everything is now marketing. If no one goes onto your website, then spending your time building a product doesn't make sense. If no one watches your TikTok videos, then spending time on a website doesn't make sense. The cycle continues. The idea is your top of funnel matters 2 times more than the stuff below it, which matters 2 times more than the stuff below it. And so arguably you could make a really, really stupidly simple app like a fitness tracker or something like that, and just spend 90% of your time marketing the heck out of it. And that would be a lot better than making an app that is extremely complex, but not marketing it at all. The software engineering skills that would accompany all of this building would be something that I learned to make things more secure and safe and reliable, rather than it being the differentiating factor that my product has when I'm building it. I'm going to keep sharing my results because it's been encouraging so far. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great week ahead.